This show was filmed on location in front of a live Chihuahua audience.
Hi. I'm Captain Save-A-Home, and we're in Delano, California.
In this edition, we are replacing this vanity light fixture. Our first step is to shut off the power, using our digital circuit breaker finder and GFCI outlet tester. While doing so, we notice that the tester is showing an open ground. Due to the improper wiring, we will also be checking the connections and possibly replacing the outlet switch combination with a new one, once the power is off.
We start by taking the mounting screws out and pulling the fixture back.
No.
Well, I don't know much, but I know that sound means it's going to be a long day.
Joseph is correct in his assumption.
What, that he doesn't know much?
No, Captain. In realizing that there will be additional steps to correctly complete this project. Starting with removing the mirror.
So we have several interesting things going on here. Not only do we have the wiring running flush along the wall, it's also terminating at the light fixture without a box. But we also have a box with live wires not going to anything, and a nailing plate was used as a box cover. Because we're replacing the light fixture and switch, we're going to be installing a new box above the existing box to terminate the light fixture wires into.
Because every aspect was originally installed incorrectly, we will be removing and replacing the switch, rerouting the wiring from the switch to the light fixture location, installing a proper light fixture box, as well as replacing the light fixture. Starting with the switch outlet. Since there will be more than one set of load wires, label each wire to designate which direction each wire is coming from, or going to avoid any confusion when reassembling the configuration.
Looks like we're going to have to get a few more things before we can really get moving on this. We're going to do this right. We're going to get it behind the wall like it needs to be. So we'll probably have to pop a hole here to be able to get a drill bit in there. We're also going to have to drill a hole over here.
We also need to measure and mark the center of the wall and cut out for the location of the light fixture box. By using the outer edge of the box as a template and measuring in 1/2 inch, we can determine the size of the hole required. Cutting out the hole in this plaster wall is not possible. Instead, a masonry bit is being used to drill holes along the perimeter of our mark and breaking out the plaster with a hammer. Then cutting out the backing wire to complete the hole. After the hole is made, check that it is the correct size and shape, and make any adjustments if necessary. The 14-gauge wire that was previously installed was not the correct size to be used. Circuits in bathrooms should be on a 20-amp breaker and should be fed by no less than 12-gauge wire. Feed the wire through the new box and leave 6 to 7 inches of wire extending from the opening to work with. To install the box, press it into place while tightening the 3 mounting screws until the box is secure to the wall. The holes that we made previously are helpful in guiding the wire from one stud to the next. A pair of pliers at the tip of the wire can make guiding it a bit easier. However, use care to not snag or damage the wire insulation in the process. In locations where running the wire is more difficult, using what is commonly known as a fish tape is a great advantage. In locations where it is a short distance, a piece of excess wire may also be used. The tape should be fed from the side where you want the wire to terminate at. Pull the tape through to the end of the wire, hook both wire and the tape together, and use electrical tape to secure the ends to each other. Carefully pull the wire through until there is at least 7 inches of wire coming out of the box. Remove the wire from the tape and strip the ends to be ready to connect to the switch outlet. However, it seems we have a slight issue with the purchase of that switch outlet.
See that? Looks like I'm going back. Now that I've got the right one, let me show you what's going on. You've got 2 blacks, 2 whites, a ground, and this is the terminals that you have on the switch outlet combo. These two are for your hot going into the outlet. You have a tab here that you can split in case you're running two different circuits. In this case, it's just running off of one circuit, so we only have to connect a black to one side and then leave the other one empty. Then the gold one on this is going to go your black that goes to your light fixture, and the chrome one, this will connect the two white, and then you'll have a white going to the light fixture itself. And I'll show you how 3 whites will end up connecting to just this one terminal. So this is how we do it. Okay, we've got stripped insulation here. So we're going to pull that back a bit. Give us a clean shot there. Then we're going to straighten this one out. And we can do that by using these side cutters, or also considered dikes. Straighten this one out. Make sure you don't straighten your finger when you're doing it. Okay, and these are your little push connects, and these will actually help quite a bit. You're going to connect that one there. Make sure that the insulation only is exposed. You don't want the wire itself exposed. Your insulation will end up being just within the yellow there. Then we take this small piece of jumper. It's not much, but it doesn't need to be. And we press that in. Now we can connect that one to the white, which is the bottom one there, just like that. Now on these terminals, just like any others, you can use a flathead, you can use a Phillips, or you can use the square. So there's that, okay? So this one here is actually going to the light fixture. So that's the one that we want to have here. Please them in, and make sure you don't skin the wires when you're doing it, obviously. Come to this side, and this is our hot. So that one is going to go onto this side here. I'll just put it up here. And our last piece, our ground, again, squeeze it. We always want to tighten up any terminals that we're not using. You don't want to leave those out. As long as we can get all this white inside the box, we'll be good. And that might take some doing, apparently. And it is 12 gauge wire, so it's going to take some effort. But before we do, we're going to make this hot and make sure that all of our wiring now actually works properly. So if you see a flash, you know we did it wrong. Well, my guess is we're okay. Nothing ended up sparking.
Be honest, I kind of feel a little cheated that it went so well.
Joseph, perhaps there will be another opportunity that will produce the excitement you are looking for.
We can only hope.
Get all of this crammed in, and I know there's a lot here to have to get in here. Try to get some of this stuff to shape and turn in a direction that will not cause it to bind up on itself, and then it will allow everything to go in. And this will be one of those things that you will end up dealing with when replacing outlet or a GFI in a bathroom or a kitchen. Want to take this wire, and yes, this is actually serving a purpose. This is going to serve as a backing for the 20-minute mud. I would technically want to put something in here, but as we're sitting here, I don't have anything that I can really put in there that's going to be rigid enough and that's not going to be flammable to put in there. So this wire is going to serve well enough. We're going to use 20-minute mud on this plaster because the 20-minute mud is actually a lot closer in consistency to plaster than the regular general purpose joint compound. Typically we wouldn't make it this dry, but since we don't have a whole lot of backing here, we want it to be dry enough to catch through the back without falling out of it. We want it to have some sort of stability while it's being put on, and then we can put more in after we have some sort of foundation. Once this stuff dries, still going to be another layer that goes on top of this, which will finish it off. And the reason we're not covering this up completely with mud is because code says that anytime there's a box with a junction in it, a connection in it, it has to be accessible. So we have to leave that there. We'll end up putting a different cover on it, but That has to stay as it is. People will see the back seat of my truck with tools just piled up to the back of the seat and wonder why I keep all my tools in there at all times. Well, for this very reason. You're doing electrical. Why did you bring all your plumbing stuff? Why did you bring your framing stuff? Why did you bring your drywall stuff? Aren't we just replacing the switch and replacing the light fixture? Well, luckily I do keep a lot of my regularly used tools in the truck at all times for this very reason. Now we can finish this off and not wait for me to have to go get the rest of my tools and be able to do something about it.
Because the wall repairs at the light fixture location were made earlier, the area is dry enough for us to install the light fixture.
Well, let's see about getting this guy up here. You have to line up the holes on the box, 2 sets depending on the size of fixture that you're putting in. You need to line up the top slot and the bottom slot to make sure everything lines up. Make sure it's level. Make a couple of marks in your keyholes here. And this is where your anchors are going to go. And your anchors are going to hold your light fixture steady. Then take these here. Make sure you strip your wires back. If you're connecting 2 different wires, like on here, it's braided wire. On the wiring in the wall, it's actually solid wire. You want to put the braided wire into the wire nut first. And we're going to take the ground and bring it out. Top screw, bottom screw. Now, since this is a new box, it's going to be a little tougher. So we'll check your level. We'll put your screws in all the way around. And since the anchors are stock anchors, of course, they're not worth a crap. That's okay. I prefer the threaded anchors anyway. And you don't want to thread it tight yet. Just enough to get it in there so we can check our level. Okay? As long as we're level, we can tighten this stuff up here. And again, you want to put the braided wire into the wire nut and then the solid wire. Make sure it stays real nice and tight to the body. And the only thing that's left is to put these little knobbies on, and they just push around the socket itself. Okay, I think we're going to be ready for some magic here. Here we are. Are you ready? Yay! Now that we have light in here, we can actually start working.
Unfortunately, due to the dry time required for the compound, we will have to return tomorrow to complete the project.
Welcome back, everybody. It's a new day, which means a new opportunity for job site mishaps.
The wall repairs have had sufficient time to dry and we have sanded everything smooth. We are now ready to reinstall the mirror.
So, you're telling me the first order of business is a 5-foot mirror being moved around in a limited space and attempted to be installed by only one person? Is it my birthday and you didn't tell me?
Joseph, I do not understand how job site misfortune can contribute to any sort of entertainment value. Despite Joseph's enthusiasm, it is always advised that you should have assistance when removing, relocating or installing a mirror, regardless of the size, to avoid damages or personal injury. We still have a few more details to tend to. We noticed that the wall repair at the light fixture was still uneven and required another coat of compound.
Okay, and to finish this off, we're just going to put a topping compound on there. Let that dry, sand it out, and everything along that side should be good.
The cover for the box containing the unused wiring also needed to be installed. Due to the box's proximity to the light fixture, the cover will not fit properly. So, we are trimming it to allow the light fixture to set flush to the wall. Depending on the aesthetics, We may replace this cover with a different one later.
Alright, we're going to get this ground wire connected back up and get the cover to this light fixture completely put in place again. And part of that is connecting the ground to the body of the light fixture itself. You want to give it a little loop around the screw, so that way when you tighten the screw, it'll keep the wire from going anywhere. Here we are.
As is typical for most DIY projects, it took us longer than any of us had expected, due to hidden issues. However, we are now where we intended to be. In the process, we have been tasked to continue our work here, so stay tuned.
And today, we're going to be changing out this sink and this faucet. For obvious reasons. So, after running into some issues as far as trying to pry this off and it starting to chip on me and breaking on me, the thin set that was holding the tile in was weaker than the thin set that was holding the sink. And trying to take those tile pieces off of the sink caused even more damage. You want to install things where they're secure, but not necessarily bulletproof, especially if they're done wrong, because there could be a lot of collateral damage when trying to do it the right way.